So let's see. Another follow-up question that I had is that it seems to be a sort of an influence of Metal Gear Solid in a lot of your videos. So I wanted to ask if MGS had an influence on you, like your politics, because it did on me, and we could talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah, absolutely. So Metal Gear Solid is one of my favorite video game series of all time. It was the famous Colonel AI speech from MGS2 that made me more doubtful on the things we are being objected to by mainstream media. It demonstrated how narratives can be constructed, and just like the character Raiden in MGS2, you, the player, are being led on to believe a complete different story in the beginning. The premise is that you infiltrate an offshore cleanup facility called the Big Shell, which has been seized by terrorists who have taken the US president as hostage. So your mission is to disarm the terrorists and save the president and the other hostages, but what you're actually going through is a sort of simulation, as you learn at the end of the game. So the whole story was constructed that in order to make you, the player, partake in the simulation, which the AI in this game uses to collect data, which is why I like to use the VR theme from the MGS games in some of my videos to symbolize this simulated and fake news world type of thing we're living in, with every bit of information being controlled and so on. And also because it has that fourth wall breaking element to it, which Hideo Kojima, the producer of these games, makes brilliant use of.
Yeah, I think you put it perfectly there. It's actually difficult for me to add any, at least in the essence of why these games are so good. And of course, he made a lot of follow-up games, but I feel like he was never really able to top this, like the sort of fourth, like you said, the fourth wall-breaking meta of the Metal Gear Solid 2, especially for the people who played that the first time. Where I was also exposed to the idea, like you said, of you live in a kind of simulation where every piece of information is fed to you to get you to do a certain thing, and like the reality you live in is completely constructed, basically. But there's so many, this game was so ahead of its time. There's so many ideas, like the idea of an artificial intelligence controlling the flow of information is something you get exposed to, or that the entire history of your country is fake, which is something that they talked about, where one of the bad guys, what's he called, like he's like the big boss or something, the one of these big boss clones who says that really the only thing that he wants is to be remembered in history as somebody who was not a part of their constructed narrative. He tries to just break some of the narrative of the so-called, the Patriots. That's like the Illuminati of the Metal Gear Solid world. And so I mean, in a lot of these videos, you're using, the music and some of the aesthetics from like this VR simulated levels. Isn't that right? The tutorial levels in MGS2, the extended edition.
Yeah, right. So I really tried to recreate, obviously, the design as close as I could, because it's yeah, for me, a way to honor it, and of course use it as a message at the same time.
I know it's cool stuff.
I don't have a lot to add on to that. I think I have enjoyed some Metal Gear Solid retroactively, but it wasn't a big part of me growing up.